Hey, it's your girl Sean, your favorite neurolinguistic practitioner, and I am back with another rant style video. I know it has been a long time. Trust me, life has been lifing, but not negatively, in a positive way. Just more stepping stones, more learning lessons, more revelation. And I have just been letting God have his way. And this is my baby. I'm tired now, but I said, you know what? Today was the day that I was going to lay this down and put this out for y'all because I really think that this is a gem. Shout out to everyone that's supporting me on all fronts. Shout out to everyone that are day ones that started with me here from the beginning when I started this a year ago. The ongoing support is crazy. I still have videos going viral. I still have videos hitting numbers, old videos, so my shorts. So it is just an amazing thing to have a support system that is locked in with me for life. I love y'all. Without further ado, I want to get into it because we often talk about post-traumatic stress. We always talk about PTSD and what happens after and how it's ruined you and how it's brought you down, how it's changed you, how it's taken chunks of you. But we never talk about post-traumatic growth. Post-traumatic growth, not letting your controversy, your stress, your strife turn into your personality, but letting it stretch you, grow you, learning from this, understanding that the pain had to happen in order for the power to be released. That is a thing that we don't hone in on. It's easier to just act like it didn't happen, keep it in the back of your mind, become riddled with anxiety, numbing yourself, unsafe habits as a distraction and things of that nature. And I just want to kind of highlight going the other way because that is exactly a choice first and foremost, and that is the choice that I made. So I just want to talk about this, how it looks, how it unfolds, and using that pain not as personality, but more so like a portal to your next level. Let's get into it. First, I want to start by defining post-traumatic growth, or PTG. PTG is when your trauma doesn't just change you, it elevates you. You become more self-aware, more spiritually grounded, and more intentional. Contrast survival mode versus growth mode. Survival will be reactionary, defensive, focused on getting through, getting by any means necessary, while growth is reflective, purposeful, and focused on becoming. And I'm not going to sit here before you today and say that I'm completely out of survival mode. But knowing that I finally got my golden ticket and I'm on my way, I'm headed that way, I just can recall how long and how deep I was in survival mode, where at times where I didn't even notice. And even though I was one of those people that kind of took things with a grain of salt or took it on the chin, I am very self-aware and control of self in terms of not letting my trials and tribulations spill out or spew out on the next person. I am not one of a history of projection and things like that. I dealt with my survival mode in the inside, with negative talk, with not allowing grace for myself, being able to hand it out to anyone else. But when it came to me, it was like, girl, why did you do that? Why did you say that? Get it done. I don't care if you're tired. Get it done. Nobody's going to get it done for you. Just go. It was a suffering in silence. It was, I know that this does not feel right for you. This is going totally against your moral compass, but guess what? You're going to be okay. Guess what? Adults do things that we don't want to do, but we do things that are necessary for the time being to get to the next thing. And at times it was like, okay, yeah, that may be true. But then there were other times where my soul was so convicted and I was so conflicted. And I battled with that for so long until I realized that confliction is exactly God's point. In the Bible, it says that David thanked God for the confliction because it was at that point where the growth happened. It was at that point where the change happened, where he let God in. And sometimes we think that we're under attack all the time and we think it's the enemy. We think it's the devil. We think he's just not letting up, when it's really God coming in our lives, stirring it up. And he will chastise us and pop us and pop us and pop us until we finally wake up. Or we have a habit of thinking that life is supposed to be easy. If I do this and I do that and I did everything right, then I'm supposed to have this specific outcome. And that is not the case, because sometimes you may ask God for a cake and he's not going to give you the cake, but he'll give you the eggs. He'll give you the mix. He'll give you the milk. He'll give you the utensils that you need. And it's up to you to figure out how to put those things together. Because again, everything you need is already in you. Everything that you can use to get ahead, you already own it. But for anyone looking for an actual reference, it is in 2 Corinthians 4:17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. Just simply meaning that it's by design. It's what shapes you. It is what makes you. It is what catapults you to your next level, the trials, the tribulations. It's a spiritual gem that we have to go through to make us. We don't just wake up one day and have all the answers. We must experience life. We must experience strife. We must experience dips and peaks and valleys and figure out how the journey is set up for us to make it home. And home is just simply back to ourselves. Here's some tips on what it may look like if you're already into that era. First sign that you may be entering your growth era or already there is the divine feeling of losing the need to prove yourself. And although that is something important that we must carry with us and we have to continue on in every level that we excel to, you just get to the point where there's this confidence where you don't overperform. You don't overachieve. You do what is necessary from a sense of realness, a sense of you just being you, whether or not it rattles people's feathers, whether or not you may be considered too much or seeking attention. But as long as you know in your being, in every fiber of you, that you are doing this from an awesome place, it gives you a sense of calmness when you actually become alarmingly calm and your wins to yourself is on the being and not the doing. You know that you have checked your character, you are in character development, you are growing within self, you're learning from your mistakes, you are choosing to be better because elevation is a choice. It is not about anything else other than discipline, and discipline warrants habits, and you know that you are putting your best foot forward. Even if someone feels like it's not enough, you know that you've done your all, and that makes the heart content. The next one is you may be noticing that your style, your standards, and your self-talk is all starting to shift or have shifted, where you are spending more time in the mirror, you are adamant about being real with you, you are tapped into you and your wants and desires, you are considering self-care as a number one priority over top of everything, even being a mom or being a boss. You know that you have to first check in with yourself, and you want to present a certain way, and you want your outer to match your inner, and you want there to be a clear correlation between the two. And you're walking with your shoulders back and your head up, and you are just so comfortable within yourself, still ready to sit in that student chair at any given time, but understanding that, yeah, I am the teacher. Really coming into your boss, but not boss of a business, managing other people, managing children, managing households, but managing yourself, bossing yourself up, understanding that this is the ugly part of me that I want to fix. I love her. This is a part of me. She's got me along to this point in this journey, but how do I connect to the next piece, the better me? And you really do. I know, as cliche as it sounds, but in reality, when you get older and the more you live, you realize that the cliche sayings are exactly the realest thing that one can say. You really do just wake up one day and not care anymore. You don't care about what anyone thinks. You don't care about what anyone says. You don't care if you're ruffling feathers. You don't care if you are shining light on people's shadows. You don't do this in a way coming from a malicious space, but you just do this like, okay, I've done the work. Why haven't you? Me coming from being considerate almost to a fault, always worrying about if other people are okay, always putting myself last or putting myself on the back burner or saying I'll get around to me. And that pattern was so vicious, and it was showing up everywhere with my children, with my business, hanging out with friends, certain business spaces, certain endeavors. It was always making sure, and it even correlated as far as physical. Like, I am a bigger woman or a taller woman, And I know that just showing up in a space can be intimidating to a lot of women that are not of my stature. And so I even tried, well, let me talk in a softer tone. Let me smile more. Let me say yes all the time. But where was that getting me? It was making sure everyone else was comfortable, but I was the most uncomfortable. I was the one that racked my brain about it. I was the one that couldn't sleep at night. I was the one that was holding things in up until the point where I was about to burst with my true feelings, with what I really wanted to do, with my actual dreams and aspirations and how I wanted to be. And I really just got to that point where I'm like, you know what? This is me. Take it or leave it. What you see is what you get. I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm not going to be distasteful, but I am going to be real to me. And I am going to be genuine to me. And I am going to show up in the space the way that Sean wants to show up in a space. Again, always leaving that space open to learn, but not dissociating my true character because I want someone else to feel okay. Where I am happy about something that I've accomplished, but I have to be mindful of who I share that with because somebody is somewhere hating. I would literally have to consciously say, okay, well, it doesn't even have to be an occasion. Okay, I'm going with this person. This person's body shape is this way. So let me be mindful of what I put on because I know that the score is going to be kept. Even though I am not a part of this competition, I'm placed in it anyway. So it's like, if I get more attention that night, then I'm being overbearing. I'm being disrespectful. I'm being shady. And I had to really cut off a lot of people in that mindset because my only interest now is simply being around other people that love themselves and they are infatuated, obsessed with their own greatest potential. If you are not on that, hey, in passing, that's all I have. You will not be around me. You will not know my business. You will not be in my space. You definitely will not be around my children. But this is the perfect segue into number 3, which is being able to talk about your past, talk about your experiences, and not relive it. When you can talk about something that really changed you, when you can talk about something that really hurt you, crushed you, dismantled you, and you can talk straight without crying, that is a clear sign that you are in your growth era. That is so important that we understand that and how big that piece is, because some of us will start back talking about something or bring up something from our past, and next thing you know, we are pissed all over again at the people, the place, the things. And so when you are ready to kind of like package it, and I'm not saying that this is for everyone, but this is the road that I chose, that I've learned some things and I want to share some things with women or people that are coming behind me who want to spread this gospel. I want to be that person that I should have had or that I wish that I had navigating these waters. I've had to handle a lot of things on my own. Everyone doesn't have a village. Everyone doesn't have real people around them. So to the ones who do, please love on your people every day, because it is truly a blessing to have someone to speak with, someone to help you, someone to motivate you, someone to pull you up by the coattails, someone to talk you off the ledge when you're going through your things. God is definitely omnipresent. He is there. He is working even when we can't see it, even when we can't feel it. But it is also nice to have a physical person or physical people being there in the flesh, someone that can hold your hand some days, someone that can give you a hug some days, someone that can really remind you of your power. Like, girl, do you not? Girl, let's go outside, put you a little lip on, get you a little lash, and we're going out. You forgot who you are. You need a reminder. Taking no power away from my independent girlies like myself, okay? We are self-made. You understand? God is our foundation, but we built these bricks. Growth by growth, you can see your work. It's like getting your money and making sure you can see your money when you come in your house or whatever you pull up on. It's the same sentiments. It's the same grind, okay? So shout out to us. We did it, and our village is closer than we know or on the way, or sometimes it may simply be that it's not the way that you envision, and that's okay. You may be expecting for it to be a friend, but it really may be an adult child. You are expecting for it to be a parent, well, it might be a coworker. You are expecting for your village to be the church, but it might be someone that you met at the gas station. And that's okay too. Just stay open. Anyway, moving forward, here are some tips on how to cultivate that post-traumatic growth. Simply reflection, just thinking back, asking yourself, what did that pain do to me? You know, I was at work and someone came in delivering some materials, and he had a hoodie that said, appreciate the times and people who challenged you, for that you are better for it. And I was like, first off, where'd you get that hoodie from? Second off, that will preach. And it really takes you to that point where you do need to reflect, where we get so caught up in the right now, we forget how far we've come. Everybody is always on the next thing. What's next? What's next? What's next? But it's like sometimes you need to look back and check the footprints. Check all the times that God was carrying you. Check all the lessons that you've learned. Check how you've elevated, big or small. Those small wins, those big wins. Congratulate yourself. Clap for yourself. Stop looking for outward validation. Do it for yourself. Next is not only reflection, but reprogramming. Reprogramming your mind, reframing what you say, reframing how you talk to yourself, reframing how you perceive what has happened to you. Like, don't say that I'm broke. Say I'm in between money. Don't say that this relationship ruined me. Say this relationship really took me through the test and I didn't pass every one of them, but I'm still ahead. I still have time. God has graced me. Don't say, woe is me. Don't say, why are you punishing me? Why is my life like this? Say, okay, I need to improve my level of discipline. How can I improve my discipline? Because that wherever I began to change, which should be myself, then my environment will change. It really is about mind over matter, but having your mind in a safe place for your body to follow, for your nervous system to calm, for reality to hit you and build you, not tear you down. Reframing also helps with self-grace. You have to give yourself grace. You cannot make your mistakes your personality. You cannot beat yourself up. You have to understand, like, okay, yes, I made these choices. Yes, I was in a relationship for too long, but that is when I was in survival mode. Now that I am pursuing something else, something better, something higher, this is what I must do. And in order to get to that point, I need to let this part of me go. Put her in a safe space, thank her, but transform and give grace. And forgive yourself, most importantly. Forgive yourself for the steps that you made, for the things that you didn't do, for the things that you feel like you lacked, okay? Timing is everything. All things are always working for our good, and we forget that. All things are always working for our good. So even when it's effed up, even when it doesn't make sense, even when you're in a rut, even when you're in a drought, even when the walls appear to be caving in, God will always reach in and pull out a blessing for you. We really crash out and it's unnecessary. You have to trust God in anything that you do in the eyes of God, or you feel like you're doing it for God, but you're doing it missing faith. Faith is not an ingredient. It's not pleasing to Him. You not giving Him the glory when you get out of it is not pleasing to Him. That's why self-mastery and faith go hand in hand. Self-mastery and understanding your Creator is a 1-2 punch. It's literally number one, bullet A and B, because you can't have one without the other. I will say community. If you do not have a village, it is your responsibility to seek community. And we have church, we have neighbors, we have friends, maybe people who we haven't really opened up to, and maybe we've opened up to the wrong people. And then you also have organizations like us and Nurture Her Wellness. That is literally a space. That is what we do. We come together to share, to motivate, to pour into each other, to seek a clean slate, to start over, to expound on our power, to focus on the good things, to embrace the hardship, but not become it. It is so imperative that you not navigate this alone. Get out of your head and get into someone else's heart. Get out of your head, open your mouth, use your throat chakra to release. Last but not least, honey, embodiment, okay? I have been told that I have a presence about me. I have been told that when I walk in a room, people will notice, things will stop, time will stand still, and I will be remembered. You know, when I was going through my legal separation with my husband, I didn't have community, so I built one. And sometimes that may be your journey as well. But for me, that was my journey. The sadness, the amount of times that I cried over and over again for days and nights, where I lost appetites, I lost weight, I fell behind in bills. I wasn't the same mom for my children. I lost one of my streams of income and it made things tighter around the house. I couldn't have certain wants, certain desires. A lifestyle that I had worked so hard for and built myself, I started questioning whether or not I can maintain it. And all while still having to be that mom, continue to pursue my business, my new endeavors, to finish school, to keep showing up in spite of, to keep that smile on my face, to get through the day, to not mask, but just to operate in my maturity. My house was so spacious it echoed because we had combined our furniture. And so when I had to ask him to leave and I sent for him or sent his things to him, you know, I used to look around and I'm like, I'm sitting on crates or I'm sitting on a chair in a space where my sectional was. And I don't have a dining room table, so me and my children would eat together in my room. Things was just so shaken and stirred that I really didn't see a way out. I was just like, here we go again, another failed relationship, coming from one that I was in too long, then going into one that I didn't evaluate enough. I jumped really quickly into the next one, and I'm just like, you know, what are you trying to say to me? And so I had to take a minute and go into hiatus and really pour into me. The entire time I thought that all of this was a breaking point. I really was like, you know what? That's it. Just numb yourself, put your heart up, you know, keep moving, get buried in your work, be buried in being a mom, and, you know, whatever. It's nothing wrong with taking a little drink. And then I realized that, you know, my normal one glass of red wine every 2 weeks or once a week turned into, let me just have 3 glasses. It's the weekend. And I felt myself sliding down the wall in a sense. You know what I mean? I really felt like, okay, this is the breaking point. When the entire time it was the rebirth. The entire time it was the rebirth. It was literally life's water breaking. And all the pressure and pain and smushing that I was feeling, those were life's contractions. And life was getting ready to push me out, to get me out the belly into the world, my new world, a new world order. And it was so dark, uncertain, and scary and sad. But once I looked in and zoomed in and I saw that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that's when something clicked in me. Like, okay, not just a new chapter, but here's the new book. Like, your next half is going to be so much better than your first half. All of these things up until this point was just practice. And here's your execution season. This is the season where it all pays off. This is the season where you see your work. Just like you get a check and you want to see your money, here is the return. Here's the return on your investment. And I must say right now that I am the most clear, the most content, the most ruthless, yet the most happiest and joyous me that I have ever been my entire life. And so I just want to share that in hopes that that resonates with someone out there, even if it's just one woman or one man. Like, it's gonna be okay. Even if you can't see your way out, even if your head is still not above the water, you're swimming in that direction. Keep going. We make this so complicated. I don't want to put a fancy twist on it. I'm just using basic words, basic logic. Keep going. You know I wasn't coming back here without giving y'all a look. This is my fall transitional look. Get into it. Let's go. Just want to leave you with 5 quick things that you learn in during or once you get on the other side of trauma. And number 1, you learn the strength of your spirit. You learn the strength of your spirit, okay? You literally learn how gangster you are. You literally learn what you're capable of, what you can endure, what you can handle. Where you're crying and maxing out and not understanding what you're going to do until you look back and you're like, wow, I got out of that. 2, of course, hopefully the most obvious, you learn to trust God's time and not your own. We don't have all the answers. We cannot guide our own steps. If you know where you are going and when you are going and you have this perfect laid out format, time frame when you're going to get there, you're going the wrong way. Again, I said this before on my podcast, it is called daily bread. God gives you new revelation, new steps, new order every day. 3, you learn that there is major power in stillness. We are often just get knocked down, boom, get up, get knocked down, boom, get up, keep doing, get knocked down, boom, get up, just go. We don't even know what direction we're supposed to be going, as long as we just moving and moving. And that delays the process. More than not, stop, breathe. Okay, because we're not breathing. Stop, literally inhale because you're capable, exhale the waste. Sit still, wait to hear from God, reorder your steps, recalibrate. Slow down. I know everything is so fast paced. Everything is so ever changing. We're freaking out about how the world is turning around. The guy in office, all the things, but learn how to cut out to allow your mental peace to come in. Give yourself time to recall. We had outer home problems. We have in-home problems. We have family problems. We have money problems. I get it. But you are human. You have to sit down, take a break, stop for a minute. Number 4, you learn to choose peace over people. Whoever wants to go can go. Whoever doesn't understand you can go. Whoever doesn't love you for the way that you love yourself, they can go. Whoever feathers you rattle by just being yourself, let them go. Let them go. Don't chase anyone. People who are supposed to be there for you, it doesn't take doing, it takes being. Your being is what attracts people. 5, last but not least, you learn that growth requires letting go of the old version of you. Cautiously and consciously unlearn. Stop going on with those old beliefs, those played out dinosaur-esque beliefs that your parents may have set. Things that may have worked out for your older cousin back in the day. Really understand what to throw away and what to keep. What pieces you need to take you to your next level. What pieces do you keep in your pocket as you elevate? Reroute your mind. You need to always be in a space of positivity. Realness, but definitely positivity. Break those patterns. Break those patterns. A lot of us, we are just stuck. We are just on autopilot, just getting up, doing the thing, performing for everyone, doing the duties, doing the work, showing up, lay down and go to sleep, next day repeat. Sick inside, you're dying inside, you are consumed with distractions, you have numbed yourself, you think of a master plan, but you haven't taken one step toward execution because you are always or already talking yourself out of it because it's easier to just do the pattern. That's also suicide. It just looks different. That does it for today's video. I will be back as I am making my contribution to mental health and just speaking on a couple of unpopular topics that are still very much imperative for us to tap into and delve into and understand just for life and growth. The healing has to happen before the sustainable win. Notice I said the sustainable, that's the key word, because we have small wins. Sometimes we think we're up, but if we're not going according to God's ordinances, if we're not going in the way that He told us, if we are not making our best decisions from our best selves, that win will be very temporary. That win will build up and fall down. Anything that does not have a strong foundation withers and crumbles every time. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care if you add pieces along the way. I don't care if you try to laminate it, if you try to put borders up, it will fall. And with that being said, I'm going to leave you with that. We are doing amazing things. The book is still coming out. There was a few issues that caused the time frame to change twice. Yes, you all know that I'm an open book. I'm very vulnerable with my people, with my loves. Just hang in there. It is coming. I imagine that the anticipation has built up and probably overflowed. That is awesome. That ties into everything that I have going on. Also, be sure to tap into Gap Girls. Another episode will be coming soon on the podcast via Spotify in the next 2 weeks. And I'm working on some other things. Yes, the first Nurture Her Wellness retreat was amazing. We are doing this quarterly. We are coming back bigger, badder, freer than ever. Our next one is set to take place in February of 2026. So I am so excited about that. Again, I'm your girl, Sean, your favorite neurolinguistic practitioner, or NLP. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Looks for the Girls, where we reframe our minds, renew our bodies, dress for our futures, not our past. Until next time, what you buy is what you own.